Welcome to the March 15th meeting of the Town of Sunset Beach Environmental Resource Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If we could stand and pledge allegiance.
Oh, dear.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Now then.
Our first order of business is to elect a new secretary. As I had advised everyone before the meeting, Chad and I had talked about this, and the idea we have is that we would have a committee of people from the committee to be the secretary, so that one person wouldn't be tasked with doing the minutes for for 12 meetings a year. So I did get feedback from Steve Levine about that, and said he thought that was a great idea, being the past secretary. And Don and I had talked, and he thought that was good too. And
It's a novel thought, and I mean I like it. It's unusual.
so what are the thoughts of others? Is there any more discussion to be had on this?
Well, I think it'd be better to have a full-time secretary, someone whose job it is to do the minutes, but understanding how, things are going here, maybe it would be better to.
Well, and I can appreciate that too. It's for one thing continuity, because we all have different styles of minute taking. Some more detailed than others. When you said committee, you mean we're actually a subcommittee of the full committee, I guess. But that's a nitpicking.
Subcommittee.
Yeah.
Secretary as a group, not as a
So
person.
it would be everybody, but you would be on that subcommittee. I mean, you're not going to take the minutes of the meeting, I assume, John.
No.
Okay.
So essentially, we're talking about rotating the process of taking minutes.
Yeah.
Because really, that's the secretary's primary
I think-
responsibility.
If it
Right.
will help, I'll give kind of a little bit of context on this. We understand that
Time to shave.
Yeah.
Somebody.
that works better. We understand that there is this is not the most desirable position held by a board.
Me? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Here we go.
Understand that this is not the most desirable position to be held on by this board. Staff thought it would be easier, and I have okayed it with administration, that if we would like to share this duty, I know there's people that will be out of the country, with 2 vice chairmen and a chairman, one person that has just resigned from it. That kind of limits it, that narrows it down to 3 people. And if it helps to share the duties, that we can make that work, and kind of go from there. So there's where that kind of context came from. We tried to make this as much as a more desirable thing to do, to maybe share the duties as a board, and you'll get staff help with this as well. Basically, the videos of this meeting is not just the only thing we can rely on. There are other governments as a government a way to record-keeping documents, to not just rely on the digital technology. They have to be recorded on paper and put in a vault. So all of our minutes are kept in our vault, and that has to be done. So unfortunately, we just can't rely on the YouTube videos of this. We have to be able to put them on paper and take notes and get them attested and signed, and then staff puts them in the vault to be protected. So that's kind of where we're at.
Century.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess the options are say that everybody but me has the duty at some time during the year to be secretary
Yeah, we're good.
as the need arises and they're available, or we we say, okay, we're going to have a team of several people, 2, 3, 4, that that would rotate or somehow share the duty. I don't know what anybody has thought
I
about.
like the idea of rotating it, because what I found when I was in that position was that if you're responsible for taking the notes, it really interferes with your ability to participate in the meeting.
Right.
And so that's okay if it's once every 5 meetings as we rotate it, but to sort of have your voice tuned out for the entire year is really hard. So rotating it would alleviate some of that, and I like that, and I think I agree with Chad. I think it's important to have the written minutes. I always like when we have them in our packet so we can go back and take a look at the last time and make sure we're following up on things. But I think rotating it is a great idea, and there might be some. I think, for instance, Rich, I don't think you have a computer, do you?
I don't.
So if
Trying to go
for somebody
backward
like
even
that,
from there.
Chad, if he produced the written minutes, could somebody here transcribe it and print it for him?
I certainly have a cell phone I could do. So I have a suggestion also, if I can throw it in to
Sure.
go off of this, is each subcommittee chair provide their topic information printed. And then whoever, so when you give your presentation, you could take the minutes after that, if it's your month or my month or Steve's month, whatever. So that way we have the bulk of the information, word for word from what we've decided, and then just who condones this or who challenges this. So you reduce the reduce responsibility, I guess, not the responsibility, reduce the workload of the secretary, so they can pay more attention to the rest of the event. Anyway.
Just for what it's worth, my philosophy on minutes has been in recent years, it's what a board or group does, not who says what. I'm not going to take verbatim minutes, just because often not really necessary.
And that's understood.
Yeah.
The verbatim minutes, I mean, nobody in this town, except for to the extent of our UDO audit and rewrite, that's where we have a little bit more detailed in there, just because they have to be captured that way. Other than that, it's more generalized, not verbatim, word
Yeah.
for word.
So
Mila's not here. Mila's not here. She mentioned the other day that she is going to be going back overseas for the summertime. Is that true?
That's what
Can I talk to her?
she said.
That's what she said. So as she did last summer, she went back into foreign service for several months. So we have to keep that in mind. Steve Levine has done it in the past, and asked to be relieved of doing that because of personal issues. So that, to me, that leaves Steve Hines, Candace, Don, Mila, and Rich.
Do you think Steve would be agreeable to doing it in a rotation?
I think once his personal problems are resolved, that might be the case, yeah.
Well, do we make a motion to
So what's, what would,
go with the subcommittee or whatever we want to call it, the rotating secretarial responsibility?
all right, do we want to have a pool of 6 people, 4 people, 3 people? What do we want to do?
I would
Who
vote
would volunteer to be on this
that.
group?
I would certainly be in a rotation.
I think we need to all take a turn in the barrel.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I think we all should take a turn in the
Oh,
barrel.
yeah.
All right.
Um,
So we'll have it. So we'll have a group of 6 people to rotate the duties of the secretary. Is that correct?
That sounds good.
Then we should come up with a schedule too.
Yeah. Don, you don't seem so sure.
no, I'm just pondering. I think this is probably the best we can come up with, given the situation. Both Ms. Seaman and I have taken minutes, and this sounds kind of crazy. I actually, in some really odd way, enjoy taking minutes, but I'm not volunteering to take it full time, if that makes any sense there. So, I mean, I would step up and do March, this month's minutes, just to get
Okay.
the ball rolling.
So Don to March.
Yeah, we need a motion, I think.
So if you wanted to do it, you could do it 2 or 3 people.
Mhm.
You're covering 9 meetings. So
Yeah,
so that's 3 meetings a person if you kind of rough it out, because we would only be doing this to the end of the year and then rediscussing this conversation in January, along with the vice chairman and the chairman.
and I would suggest perhaps that Candace, every how we do this, she'd be put at the end of the line, so to speak, so she's not doing them after I do them, unless you want to.
I'm fine with going at the end of the.
Well, Candace
even if we-
did February.
Yeah,
If we kept it with the 6, then it means only twice a year somebody's doing them, however it works out for this year. Because my guess is, unless we have a big change in our makeup, that most likely will be following this next year. If it works well, why would we
try it.
switch?
It's unusual, I'll grant that. I can't say I've ever heard of it before, but hey,
That's
a lot
worth
of things I
trying.
haven't heard of. So, but I'll do March.
Do you want to make a motion?
Well, somebody needs to make a motion. Now, I'll make a motion that the committee, establish a rotating system of taking minutes, including everybody but the chair in the process.
Is there a second?
Wait a second.
Any discussion?
Do we want to make that just for 2023 as on a trial basis?
Yeah, I'll amend my
Revisit it.
motion to that effect if that's according to
Friendly
Robert's rules. You okay with that, Candace?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I guess I
Okay.
better get busy, huh?
Who would like to volunteer for April?
Why don't we do it alphabetically by last name after I do it? So who would be
I
next?
would also suggest that the
Okay.
Green Committee has an Earth Day event and 3
Uh-huh.
days after the meeting, after this board meeting, 3 or 4 days after. So I'm not sure Candace or I, either one should be in Mila. I don't know if Mila's
That's
back next
fair.
month.
Steve, would you do April?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So Steve would do April,
Thanks.
and then we'd I guess in April go from there.
Yeah, we'll set this up for 3 months following.
3 months.
Set each month up. We'll set the next month up at each meeting.
Steve is practicing here already.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
Okay. So
least
in
that was
April,
take
we
notes.
decide who's going to do, or when,
In April, we'll decide who does May.
okay, who's going to do April though?
Steve Hines.
Steve Hines. Okay, I got you. I beg your pardon. Okay. All right. Okay, I think I got that.
Okay. The next item is the agenda amendment and approval of draft agenda. I have one amendment I would like to make. I would like to move the old business birthday Arbor Day, item 6B, and the green subcommittee discussions in 7C2 up to the first item after approval of meeting minutes.
So the Green Subcommittee and the Earth Day Arbor Day move up to item 4.
Now, Rich has told me he has his grandchildren arriving this morning. I
Okay.
would like to leave the meeting early.
Okay. Okay.
So if we can get his presentations out of the way, we'll still have a quorum. We can do that. Is there any discussion about that?
Well, no. I've got one. I guess it's an agenda amendment under upcoming meeting dates. You got June the 14th, Chad. That should be the 21st, shouldn't it? Since that's only the second Wednesday. That's nitpicking, but
Bear with me.
I will. We will.
So Flag Day.
That's right.
It should be.
It is the 21st, you're right.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. I move the agenda be amended to move the green report and the green subcommittee report and the Earth Day Arbor Day report up to item next after the approval of the agenda.
Approval of the agenda or after the approval of minutes?
Well, I'm sorry.
Would it be just the first item under old business? Just move them to the first item under old
Yeah.
business?
Okay.
We
So
could do that.
okay. Anyway, okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we move to accept the agenda, the amended agenda.
Is there a second?
So second.
All in favor?
Thank
Aye.
Aye.
Who made that motion?
Me.
Okay.
Oh, second.
All right,
Just second.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Public comments on agenda. Any public comments? No. All right. The next item are the minutes from January and February meetings. Are there any changes that need to be made to the? Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item is, Rich, you want to update us on the
Yeah, yes,
RKR?
and I will be out of the ordinary succinct. We've been busy, and I apologize to this council that directly to Candace because I sent her last minute request, and I know how busy she is. I'm sorry about that email yesterday.
You know, I didn't know what you wanted. It
Yes.
just says review, edit, and.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, in and out. So the Green Committee in this past month been very busy. We've completed, Candace and Mila completed the parking permission application. All of that's been submitted to Chad already.
What committee? What?
I'm sorry. I'll give you a copy of the notes.
Oh,
if that
okay,
helps,
good,
okay?
good, good, good,
That'll
good.
save us some time. Um, Mila and I have completed the flyer, and the flyer is
Green subcommittee.
Okay.
hopefully it'll be posted at the kiosk, the 3 kiosk at the park sometime early April, sooner the better. We've confirmed 4 speakers, and I have a list of those speakers for you, Don. Well, I'll let you. Native Plant Society, the Southeast Chapter Chairman, the Extension Service, Brunswick County. She's the head of the Master Gardeners. Christina. God's Miracle Acre, the director of that, is coming out, and Mr. Farrell. He hasn't given me his title of his presentation yet, but that's coming soon, I'm sure. We have 13 confirmed vendors so far. We got a couple more yesterday. Mr. Hines here suggested a guitarist. The one I had had a death in the family, sad to say. So I've not heard back from your contact yet. And this morning in my car, I contacted another guy who may be interested. Candace has reserved 4 different perennial seedlings from Hughes & Hughes Nursery at 40 plants each. She also has pricing for 40 to 61 gallon trees from Hughes. And we're not sure where that's going to go. If any kind of budget approvals for that yet, we're still waiting. We're waiting for the type of tree, the specimen tree or trees to be planted.
I think what we discussed, because we have magnolia there, was to get another magnolia. The question was still, is that fit in with Public Works plan? And we've not really had a chance to revisit that with them.
And we have 5 weeks, so no hurry.
Yeah, and that was not an issue for Hughes & Hughes. It's kind of like what you guys need, we've got,
Okay, and she has, Hughes has those on hand, whatever she needs.
Yeah.
Or whatever we might need. Candace and Mila suggested thank you notes to participants, the vendors, and also reusable cups for our 4 presenters. So there will be a budget request for that, I think. Mila wrote an article from the Brunswick Beacon on the town's attributes, which also included our Earth Day. I suggested a volunteer photographer. Last year we did not get the press that we would hoped for. That's what you need to make the program grow. And Candace has a friend who may be interested, Carol, I think. For next, you want to go a couple of the plant swap that we had last year with 100 plus plants should be much larger this year. And we have knowledgeable and accurate volunteers this year. Last year seeds were given out that weren't quite what we needed. We have a sign up, a volunteer friend of mine done a sign up and a listing of the homegrown national parks. They will be on hand. They will also cover their booth. I contacted 3 different charity groups and gardening groups from Ocean Ridge community. Since we have only 13 confirmed so far, we need to, I think, pat our wallet here a bit. No replies as of yesterday. And for next year, our committee discussed an electric vehicle show, Tree City USA presentation, hopefully, promotion with a tree giveaway. And we were thinking maybe one of the reasons we have fewer vendors this year is because it's on a Saturday. The event's on a Saturday, and I don't know what people. I'm not sure what presenters. Most of them may not work Saturday. Most are volunteers. Most may not want to do Saturday. So we discussed maybe doing it on Fridays, Earthday on Fridays, Earthday Arbor Day on Fridays, closest to the actual day. And then 2 other questions were, one other question was, I was doing some research, and there's a ministry, I guess, an environmental ministry by the churches, almost of all, I would say of all faiths that are looking to promote environmentalism, which is a huge percentage of the country. So I was wondering if we should invite any environmental groups from the local churches to our event this year. The end.
I don't see any problem with that. Do you, Chad?
By environmental groups, you mean groups within the church that are organized environmental stewards? Trying to think if our church has one.
Big church.
I don't think.
So
we
I
do.
read pamphlets from 3 other churches.
Okay.
And over the past 2
Yeah.
years, and I mentioned this to Mr. Farrell. The impetus for that was, I think, the Pope's letter to the planet, or letter to the, I think it was letter to the planet, inviting all different faiths in to meet the Pope and discuss environmental issues. So I've seen it starting last year. There were, 3 of the churches I checked had at least discussions about it.
Well,
So
yeah. I mean, I like the idea. You know, when I gave a talk to the our men's group at my church, Seaside UMC, and it was well received. The approach I used was that we should be stewards of God's creation, because we can't buy another one anywhere.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was the gist of it.
And it's biblical also, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Well, every belief has.
Yeah.
And I do have the 4 presenters if you guys want to know. I don't have. I already presented that. I guess I don't have titles yet though.
You spell my name wrong, but that's minor. I'm not on the Coastal Resources Commission.
Okay.
That's a little above my pay grade. I'm on the Coastal Resources Advisory Council.
Advisory Council.
Advisory Council.
That's why we put this out there. Thank you.
Just like the ERC is an advisory council, CRC has an advisory. I think that the Green Subcommittee has done a fabulous job on preparing and know how much work's involved in this. And you're to be commended for,
Oh, we had a couple of meetings, right?
well, it's not just the meetings, it's all the communications that go on during the day. It's constant. Are there any other questions or comments for Rich?
Just I want to be clear to myself. You're not talking about moving this year's event to
No.
Friday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
And I'll echo that. I think next year, if one of y'all can confirm, I think next year's event was going to be on a Sunday. And I was already going to veto that we were not going to be able to hold that. I was going to probably suggest it would have to either be moved to the Monday after or back to the Friday before. So just kind of giving y'all a heads up that's going to be coming when we get to May of this meeting. That was one of the things I was going to bring up and just go ahead and prepare y'all for.
I think you said in general Sundays are not good.
No, not for
town support.
No,
town personnel
that's
support.
correct.
And one other thing, just maybe to clear up, we do not have a rain date for our event. Is that correct, for the Earth Day Arbor Day?
That is correct.
Correct.
Don't mention that word.
Well, I just want to
I
be
know,
clear because
I
it's
know.
come up a few times. So there's no rain date.
Because Candace has brought up several times, there is a what do we do with the plants after the event
In the event that there's
of a rain day? Yeah.
Lots of room at my house.
Yeah.
I don't have any room in my garage.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can work with Public Works of the
we
town
have to find a home.
Yeah.
And then I think the final question is about the ability to purchase those larger trees that you would like to hand out. Is there any additional funding? I think, Chad, you were still working on budget for us.
So from everything I've seen, we just need to find the location of the tree. I think everything else budget-wise will work.
This was Rich's concern that he would like to buy an additional 40 to 50 1-gallon size.
I think I
trees.
saw your additional invoice. We just need to get an updated one. But
Okay. It's under $300, I think, for all of those trees.
With all of them, including what you want to do.
No, so the initial invoice that you saw, or the estimated invoice from Hughes and Hughes, was just for those seedlings that we
And
ordered.
that was
Or
what?
groups of 40.
Do you know how
And it
much that
didn't-
was?
I think it was about 400, and
Okay.
I think that I think when we first discussed this, and you said, "Yeah, go ahead," the specimen tree was going to be maybe about 400, so the total was about $800. And what Rich is proposing would cost And what Hughes and Hughes told us is, tell us what the budget is and we'll tell you what we can give you. So is
Right.
it 30 trees or 50 trees? Kind of depends. But I think you were looking for maybe an additional $400 to purchase maybe 40 or 50 larger
Because
trees.
our estimate from Hughes
was
was
about
$4
$8.
to $6 per
I think
tree.
it was $6 to $8 a tree.
$6 to $8. I'm so optimistic.
So
That's okay.
Or $6 to $8 per
Yeah.
tree. So
And that's
50
why if we
trees.
gave them the amount, if we told Lindsay over at Hughes and Hughes, gee, we've got 400, what can you give us for that? I think she can work it out to give you some larger.
And it would not be
larger.
the same tree. They
Rich,
would be,
ballpark, what are we looking at?
so the original 800 plus another
400.
400.
So
Yep.
1,200 or 800?
1,200 total with the
12 total.
additional. 800 is kind of what you already told us. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just double check that, and I'll try to have y'all an answer by the end of today.
And that would lead into our Tree Fest or Tree City USA, those kind of projects.
Okay.
Mhm.
to,
But again, a storage issue. If we're rained out, what do we do with those?
Yeah, that's my next question. Are we prepared to know what we're going to do with them if we have seedlings left over like we did last year? So, I mean,
that would probably involve Public Works accepting.
Yeah.
But we don't want to create more work for them. That's why
we also don't want to let them burn up on the back porch either.
Exactly. Yeah. We really need to find a place to plant any leftovers. And so Candace has ordered pink muley grass, which would look great in the park, in the sunny parts. Some other, or if again, I don't want to commit Public Works to anything or Parks Department.
So let's do two things. One, I'll find an answer out for you if that monetary amount is too little, too much. And two, I've got it on my notepad. We need to schedule a walkthrough with Public Works in the park with Matt. And then he can tell us if we have extras, can they be planted in the park where? I know the park's limited. We are building and finishing a gazebo there. So let's rely on Matt's expertise when we do that. Hopefully there's no fires to put out next week in the Public Works Department. So we'll do both of those and then hopefully kind of get a consensus answer on that. If it gets to the point where we run out of seedlings, we run out of seedlings. I think that's the goal. I would rather have the goal to run out instead of not have, or than have any left over.
I think one of the things that happened to us last year is that because we didn't know how many people would come through, I think we had told people originally we'd pick one or the other. And we probably could have offered one of each. And
Yeah, and
maybe we allow this time, gee, if you really think you can use this,
take them.
take them.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, I think this year is, over the next couple years, we figure out how to master that equation. If we run out, we run out.
Right.
First come, first serve. If somebody wants 12 of them, I think that's a little, maybe, figure out a balance there. And, next year, hopefully we have the harder conversation of, okay, the first year we had too many left over. This year we ran out too quickly, and we'll just have to adjust and go from there. So
I just had an idea. Don, you have good contact with the CAMS group?
With who?
CAMS?
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
Or you also have it with the Sea Trail Association.
Well, there's Steve is my contact.
Okay. Well, whoever's got the contact. There are so many new homeowners in Sea Trail that we ought to make a point to tell people that part of Earth Day Arbor Day is going to be the giving away of these plants.
Mm-hmm.
And if people want them to add them to their landscaping in their yards, they will be there. And they'll
Cam, let me back up and start over. I think all the HOAs have newsletters, monthly newsletters. I know ours does in Windfall, and it includes all kinds of stuff. I would suggest that I'll give you the name and phone number of the contact at Cam's office down here, and you two can connect and leave me out of the loop on this because I don't know the details. But I'll get that to you today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a contact there also.
maybe Sea Trail is sufficient.
Well,
But even if Camp put something in the HOA newsletters that, hey, this event is coming up, we wanted to remind you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think beyond that, if that it's not always does not always get into a newsletter,
That's true.
that we take individual responsibility. Every social group we know, let
Well-
them know what's going on. We need to by our friends and neighbors. We should have 500 people at our event.
I think your point you make is valid because my ex-wife was a journalist. She used to be the news editor of the Beacon back in the day. You have to tell people in different ways because not everybody reads the newsletter, not everybody reads the Beacon, da 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 da. So the more different venues or more different sources you have, the better off you are, really,
Right.
to a point.
All right. Is there any other discussion for Rich? Do you have anything else?
I think that's all we've covered this past few
No,
months.
but we've still got a lot to do.
We
and,
do, that was my last item. Yeah, still lots of
are you
coordinating.
around? I know you said your grandkids are here. Are you around this week so we could maybe talk about? I don't want you to have that whole duty of contacting the non-responders.
Oh,
so
I
I'll
still
help
need
with
I need that from Chad though, because I'm sorry. Thanks for bringing that up. My duty was after our last meeting was to contact the non-responses to our initial invitation. So I do not want to. There's only 8 to 10, I guess, who have not responded or have responded no. If they've already replied no, I don't want to.
Yeah, we don't need to contact.
Right, I don't want to be I don't want to be the thorn in the side,
Yeah.
I guess. So, but if you have that, I know Mila said she had no one who said she did not receive any negative responses.
Yeah, she just had no non-response.
Right. Yeah.
So you're looking for a list of people who just have not sent me an email that I forwarded on to you.
Right. Or yeah, whichever way that goes. If
I
there's
can-
some no's that you
What
have.
I can do is the list that Mila provided me was the list that I sent to everybody that I sent to. So I don't know if y'all want to take that and cross-check it.
Well, I have that list also. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would do.
So if you want to cross-check it to who you've gotten no's from and yeses from, those would be the people I've not heard anything from.
So
I have forwarded everything to you, Mila, and Candace.
okay, yeah, she didn't have anyone who said no. So I will be the
Well,
thorn.
let's just touch base on that.
I will. Well, I can go ahead and do that. I mean, there's only 8 to 10 of them. I can contact each one individually. Next sunny day we have. All right. Thanks for that reminder.
Okay. Rich, you can stay as long as you want.
Okay. Thank you.
When you have to go.
I want to hear what Don has about the Brunswick. Keep Brunswick County
Oh,
beautiful.
okay.
I love my grandkids, but that's important.
So you what?
So I love my grandkids, but I like
I
I like to hear some other.
All right.
Not
well,
that much, huh?
Get back to
Let's see what we get into. The
Okay.
next item is the first quarter report to the council. I think everybody had a copy of the packet that we presented to council. And at the end of, well, the day, just before the meeting, I got a request from John Corbett to kind of wrap it up. And so I prepared a report called the first quarter report conclusion. And I listed priorities and guidance from council, and I reviewed it with Steve and Candace. And these are the priorities that we identified for council for discussion. And John, well, the council asked to table this until next month so they could review all these things, and that's the plan. That will be coming back before the council in April and talking about the things they want to talk about. But we had the Calabash River flooding, we had the public meeting, we talked about Tubbs Inlet as the recommendations and the guidance. I just threw the universal request, how can we do better? Can we do better? And I'm suggesting that we change the resiliency strategy to a resiliency program. We create a Tubbs Inlet program to monitor and report to the town on that. And we have a discussion with council about the um, banning of single-use plastics and mandatory recycling to try to get some direction, because I think there's just so much development going on in Brunswick County outside of the municipalities. When you put that responsibility to do those sorts of things on a municipality, we're becoming a straw in a haystack in the county with so many other people, not unincorporated areas that are going to be coming into the town in the future, or coming into the county in the future. So just thought that would be a discussion to have with council and see what they think of that and where they want to go with it, if they want to do anything with it. The last item was this idea of collaborating with BEMC of putting solar panels in open town property spaces and creating kind of a mini grid with backup power. The more I thought about it, the more places I could think of where solar panels could reasonably be installed and create a mini grid to support the town. I don't know if that's anything BEMC will do. I know they have a community solar program, and it's oversubscribed.
There are several solar panel farms in the county. One is up on 17. I guess you go by every day, don't you? It's pretty good size, I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we presented to council, and that's what they're going to have some discussion around next month, as far as I know. I want to thank Steve and Candace for their participation. They put a lot more work into preparing for the meeting than they did to speak at the meeting. We were kept on a very short leash with the time we had available to talk. But hopefully we planted the seeds that we wanted planted, and we'll see if they sprout.
Can I ask one question? Were they able to get the Tubbs Inlet pictures? Could he fly the drone? Or weather didn't?
The answer is yes and no. There are pictures. In fact, I just downloaded the files before the meeting from the chief. There were problems with the drone. They lost contact with it when it was in the air a couple times, and they couldn't get it to turn where they wanted it to turn. It would get to a turn point, and it would go sideways. It wouldn't turn.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
we've got some improvements to make. We learned a lot from doing that. But the plan was to start at the inlet, to Tubbs Inlet, go up to the end of the spit that's formed there, come back down South Jinks Creek, and then go up North Jinks Creek. The video up and down North Jinks Creek actually isn't too bad. But if it's done at low tide, it's easy to see where the shoaling is forming. That said, the tide was not low. It was still about 2 feet above datum. So hopefully we have good weather. We can do this in 2 weeks during the new moon, and we'll be able to get better pictures. But we did have some success.
That's great. Well, you got to start somewhere, so
Yeah.
good news.
Any other questions about or any other comments about anything people observed watching it on YouTube? Or I think we learned a lot on what they want to have reported to them and how much time is going to be available. So we'll have to figure out how to improve that.
The next report is June.
Well, the next quarterly report will be in June, but our next discussion with them will be in April.
Right at the next meeting.
Right. Next item is the BEMC community grant application. Chad, you want to update us on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything new to report. I'm still waiting to hear back from BMC on the results of that grant application. Like I said last time, I had a direct response from somebody with BMC saying that they have received it, not just an automated confirmation of a submittal. And I've not gotten the results back from that. So we're still waiting.
We are officially, we have been acknowledged that they received it. That's good. Next item is Tree City USA application, and we'll keep flagging this on the agenda until we can schedule a meeting. And I know this is maybe a bad time with all the other things going on.
Actually, I was going to suggest to you is Rich, Steve, and John, is there a time next week you and I, the three of us, can sit down?
Could be.
Brought my computer in here this morning, so
Chad, was that you, Rich, and John?
John, Steve, Hines, and Rich.
Okay. And you. Okay. All right.
Wednesday I have open.
I have Wednesday open as well. Wednesday work. All right. How about 11 o'clock?
Okay.
That work for you too?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. Should.
Okay. Next item is the Sunset Beach 60th celebration. ERC is going to be part of the town booth. We need to set up some kind of a schedule for people to be at the booth and decide what we want to do in the booth.
That's a Saturday morning, right?
That's correct.
Or Saturday day, or
Yeah.
It's Saturday from 10 to 5, I think.
We got a postcard on that.
Thought it was from 10 to 4.
10 to 4, 10 to 5. Yeah, that sounds good.
clean up. Yeah, I could do noon on, I think, Saturday. Planting
The only
turnips or-
time I could do would be 10 to 11.
I've got a commitment in the morning. I could probably do the later shift, 2 to 4, 1 to 4, or something like that.
Yeah, and I could go before 10 to help set up if I need to. Just
So I could do
got
that
commitment
too.
all Saturday.
Community garden day.
So what it is.
I'm pretty flexible. I'd probably rather do the morning.
So we would be.
Steve, are you going to be able to?
Yeah, I'd prefer to do the morning or set up, and or like I can go over later and take down either way.
Now what we gonna be passing out bags, or what are we gonna be doing? I guess.
Oh, that's the next.
Oh, okay.
What are we going to do?
Yeah, so I would say use as many as the bags as you would like or want to. You can pass those out informational. If we can update, if you want to resend me the QR code, I can update the brochure and get those printed out for you. A couple hundred for those as well, and give them to you so you can fold them and have those. It's more of a, y'all can use it as you want to, informational. Again, this might be kind of a prelim to Earth Day Arbor Day, but also for any markets that y'all might be wanting to look at over the summer. I can give you I can get the banner from Public Works and give that to y'all as well.
Yeah, I think the banner would be good to have.
Will we be in booth or tent or something with the town? Where will we be?
I'm not 100% sure. I know y'all. I know there'd be a tent or a table. I'm not sure what it exactly will look like.
Because if we don't have a place to put the banner up,
Yeah, I think we need, let's get confirmation if we can on, will we have a full table available to us? I would like to have a poster that we could put the flood zone maps up and ask people to, like, where do you live? Let people look at the maps, see where they live, and see what their risk is for flooding in that location. The Category 2 hurricane maps are very close to the, what do they call them?
Yeah, and if you want to send me those, I'm pretty sure I have them. But if you want to send me something to print out, I can print them out on the plotter.
Okay. I can take screenshots.
It's
I
fine.
don't know how, resolution-wise, I don't know how
Okay.
good it will be on a plotter, but we
Okay.
can try it.
Yeah.
could you get people to put little pins in where their house is? Because it really makes them pay attention there.
Yeah,
where-
we'll have to put it on some kind of foam board and then
yeah.
put
So
it.
get some little pins.
You have 10 days to get that done.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but I think that is so important that people recognize where they are.
We'll have the recycling magnets and bags,
Yeah.
and we'll have
In the recycling brochure.
the recycling brochure.
Do we have we still have magnets?
I've got a box of magnets. I'd love to get. They've
Make
been
sure
in my
you bring-
they've been in
yeah,
my
make
car
sure
for.
Oh, I still have a box. I got more than you do.
Here's our
So-
chance.
Lisa just texted me back, and y'all will be in the booth with administration and staff.
Okay.
Okay, but will we have an area of a full table? How much space?
They're in a booth with us handing out stuff. So I'm gonna err on the side of probably no, you won't have a full table. So
So
No, we can't have too much stuff.
But we could use, if we have it made, we could use the Earth Day, Arbor Day poster, if that's printed by then. Make people aware.
Could you put the map that you're talking about on a couple of poles
Easels are- okay.
and just, or the easel or something?
I've got a little easel we can put on the tabletop and can mount a
No, I
poster.
meant like off the table, since it doesn't sound like we're going to be getting much room.
I don't know where. Anybody know where we can get an easel that'll stand up on the ground?
Anytime you do an outdoor event, you have to not concern only about the rain,
Yeah. Rain
but the wind.
or wind.
Right. So yeah, if you're in the right direction, I guess. But that may be a drawback for an easel. But you can
Yeah.
always hope for a mild day,
Bungee cords.
Yeah.
wind-free day on the water.
It's the fisherman speaking.
Yeah.
So Gavin, they're great ideas, but I'm not sure if
Well, we got 2 weeks to think about that. Not quite 2 weeks.
So, am I down for 1 to 4, or are we somebody going to put a schedule together and make sure we are covered? Or can I assume 1 to 4 for me?
On your 1 to 4?
Okay. Cool.
Rich, you're 1 to 4?
okay.
And it's your 10 to 11. Steve
And
and
I
are.
could do like 9 to 11 to be there to help set up it.
I think last year I remember they said Public Works and staff does the setup or did the setup and the tear down.
Well, they only put up like a table
yeah,
for
for
us,
our
but we had, yeah.
Our own stuff, yeah. That
I'll put you and I down for 10 to 1.
Or 9 to 1, or what- yeah,
9 to
depends
1,
on how
yeah.
much setup is really
Right.
needed, but
Yeah.
we'll get there early.
Just to be clear, that will there be satellite parking and would be bused over there, or how's that going to work? Because I doubt the little parking spaces there will be enough.
I don't think there's any special parking plans except to, what are the parking arrangements? If we get there early, we can park in the town parking lot there at the park, can't we?
The town parking lot?
The-
The parking lot in the park, for the park.
What I would do
Where do you want it
is
set?
I'll try to provide y'all with an answer to that.
So
I
is
know
this-
there's, I know the, in the preparations for this, the department had certain responsibilities to help prepare for this. And with it being in the park, the police department was kind of in charge of handling all the parking, and locations and stuff like that. I do know there will be parking in around of businesses that we've gotten permissions from, Dollar General, Coastal Outfitters. There will be signs, saying park here, don't park here, that type thing. Diagonal street parking, so in the right of way along Seaside Boulevard will be allowed. There will probably be some parking, but not all kinds of parking down there around the park. So stuff will be properly signed and stuff like that and these signs will also be the ones we would be using for our 3 Arbor Day as well. So
Okay.
Any other questions?
food is free.
Yeah. I'll be there then.
Are they going to really have beer?
Mackay Brewery is brewing a special brew for us. That's not free, but all the other food is.
free hot dogs.
Sorry. Free hot dogs, chips,
Hot dogs.
popcorn.
Free
Yeah.
beer would be dangerous for some people.
Yeah, sorry.
And illegal.
All right. Brunswick County Keep America Beautiful report. Don?
Okay, the committee met last Wednesday. We focused on litter, which is not surprising. There was a letter to the Beacon last week complaining about the litter problem on Highway 17, and our response was, well, what's new? I've driven Highway 17 twice from here to Wilmington and back in the last week or so, and the litter is bad in spots on 17 and not bad on some spots, but overall it's fairly bad. They didn't really have a solution necessarily other than to encourage folks not to throw stuff out of their vehicles. Part of the issue on 17 is, if you notice next time you go up that way, near the landfill, there's a lot of litter because trucks, after they dump their stuff, they don't blow everything out of the truck as they should. So as they're getting up to speed to go north or south on 17, the stuff blows out. Paper cups, plastic, whatever, styrofoam cups. So it's particularly bad there. So that was a big thing. They were really trying to focus on public information, encouraging people not to litter, obviously, which is an ongoing thing. And trying to encourage more adopt-a highways in the county. There are only 2 on Highway 17. And I can't remember exactly where they are. One's up near Leland, the other one's closer down this way. Encouraging more adopt-a highways is the big thing. The committee is in the midst of restructuring their membership, in that they've got some non-participating members and they're going to redo their bylaws, but they're just the meeting with the litter situation, which is again nothing new, and trying to focus on that. The free dump week, and I didn't write this down, is in April. I have to get a date on that, but that's coming up and be publicity with yard signs and stuff in the paper and so forth. So that's where you can take all your stuff out to the county landfill in Bolivia, I guess they call it, and dump it free. all kinds of stuff. You name it, they'll probably take it. So that's
Do
coming up.
do you
That's,
know, would they participate at Earth Day, Arbor Day, where they can maybe present some of these?
well, I'm glad you mentioned. I've mentioned to the staff person there that this be a good opportunity to get out, and they talked about going to the several other spring events around the county, and mentioned us too. So I'm going to lean on her to encourage her to have not only her but some of the committee people down there too, because they showed an interest in being down here. And so I said, come on down and talk about.
Maybe they could sign up Adopt a Highway
Yeah,
volunteers from
yeah,
Sunset Beach
yeah.
to do 17th through the
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where we complain, but somebody else ought to do it. So get out there and put your
yeah. So
But
this
so-
might be a chance for them to get some volunteers.
yeah. So that's
Plus, if they came here, it'd be great
yeah.
to do
So
Georgetown.
I hope they'll have some people, some fellow committee people at the uh, birthday, or actually, well, at the birthday Arbor Day event.
We,
I've got
we
a-
need confirmation one way or the other, so we have a
Yeah.
table or a space where when we set, not a table, but we have a
Pardon me?
space. We need confirmation from them,
okay.
so we have
I'll
space.
try to
space
confirm that. Yeah.
And it helps with our promotion.
Yeah. Their staff person's new in the position and has a lot of other things on her plate. So this is just one of several things.
Right, yeah.
How about a shred event? Are they going to have another shred event? One they had
Did
last.
not mention that. Now I do know that the credit union has fairly frequent shred events. But I mean, at least once a year. And one of the things a lot of people don't know made him mad. One thing a lot of people don't know is that the recycling does not take shredded stuff because it comes up their sorting machines. But I'll check on a shred event. That's a good point.
Yeah, the one they had last year was very successful.
Okay.
All right, we'll move into the subcommittee discussions. Climate. I think we covered that with the council discussions. Unless you have something else to add, Steve?
No, do we want to talk a little bit about Tubbs Inlet here, or?
That just popped into my mind. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, just I think we do need to investigate what's going on with Tubbs Inlet, in depth. The aerial photos are only going to tell part of the story.
Right.
I think there's a lesson here with what's going on in Mad Inlet. I mean, Mad Inlet is long gone, and if Tubbs Inlet continues to fill in, it could end up being long gone in the future as well. So, anyways, as part of that, John suggested I reach out as a fisherman to some contacts that I have with fishermen. So I did talk to a local charter captain who's very, very interested in us looking into what's going on in Tubbs Inlet. And he's volunteered to take whoever wants to go out at low tide in his boat so that he can show you how bad it's become as far as the shoaling in the inlet. So I think that we ought to take him up on that. And that's just initially a first step in our study besides looking at aerial photos. We can certainly get, he said he could get other boats. I mean, we could put as many people as we want really out there.
Oh. I reported to Spencer Rogers yesterday, by what you had told me, and I told him if he was available and interested, he could take a boat ride with us.
Well,
so I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, he said that he's licensed to take up to 6 passengers on his boat.
Okay.
And there's other people with the same license that, they're fishermen, so we could get 12 or, I could even get on my boat, though I wouldn't be able to show anybody anything. I'd probably just run aground. But he's concerned.
Thank
So
you,
long,
Rich.
Rich. He's concerned because he's noticed a decline in the water quality inside by by the Sunset Beach Bridge over the years. He said it used to be the water was a lot more clear, and if you go down east of the Ocean Isle Beach Bridge, you get the influence of the Charlotte Inlet, and that water from that bridge east is clear. I mean, he used the term green, and you can see the difference in the color. The green water is a little more clear, whereas our water is brown. And then as you get past down towards Little River, past Bonaparte Creek, it gets green again.
Is it like sediment in the water?
I'm not sure whether it's
Turquoise?
going to be sediment in the water so much as it's what's living in the water column. The fact that it's not getting flushed, so there would be detritus,
Or as we
bacteria.
build more, there's more fertilizer and
Well, that's going to
that
happen.
kind of stuff
That's,
going in there.
that's going to
and-
happen. The tree removal is you're removing your stormwater infrastructure when you remove the trees. So
That's not
stormwater.
unique to Sunset Beach, though.
No,
That's
no,
everywhere.
no, but it is everywhere. But then you wonder if that's part of what we're seeing here. And
Well, it certainly would contribute. I don't think we're at the point yet where that we're severely impacting the water quality. But if we lose Tubbs Inlet, then we're going to lose that flushing, and that will be it. I mean, it will become less than what it is. It'll certainly change the environment.
Um,
can
It was-
we maybe put that on the agenda? When you get your pictures, can we put this on the agenda and really discuss this?
Yes. 2014, the area around the end of Sunset Beach Island, the east end, was pretty rounded off. It wasn't very large spit area.
Mhm.
That spit area has grown significantly north and northeast. It appears that the ebb channel has migrated west from Ocean Isle Beach. There is a channel there for the ebb flow. And there's more ebb flow coming from behind Ocean Isle Beach than there is from Sunset Beach, because you've got that big area of land blocking the flow.
I walk my dogs down at that end of the beach because there's fewer people there. I mean, you have to walk a long way to get there, but I've just been stunned over the last 5 years to see the changes where you used to be, there were big tide pools out there. You could see that there was a big
Well, that spit
drop
is,
off where the channel went through. Now there's people taking lawn chairs out to the middle, almost over to OIB, because they can walk that far out when the tide's low, and it's
But
and
it's not just there either. The sand has filled in further up into the inlet
Sure,
to the
and
point where
behind.
it's the shoals are extending up into the creeks that are in the back.
I think it's
So if you navigate,
I think it's stunning when you go out there and see it. And I like your idea if you can get people to take a look. People who live on the island may be more aware, but I don't think people in town see that all the time, especially if they don't go up to that end.
I'm not real familiar with that situation, but it strikes me that Mother Nature's trying to do her thing and we're fighting it. Is that a fair summary of it?
well, I think that everything that
Yeah.
that has gone on over the decades
Right,
here
right, gotcha.
has contributed in a way.
Yeah.
But we've set up and established our communities based on a certain status
Right.
in the environment, and then now that situation's changing.
I can't help but think of the email that John sent the other day about the Outer Banks. Remember? Yeah, that was pretty
Well,
telling.
there is nothing natural about Tubbs Inlet. Tubbs
Yeah,
Inlet is
yeah.
totally man-made by
Yeah.
Manigore. And it's going to do what it's going to do.
Sure.
There are things done around it that influence it.
Hmm.
There have been navigational dredging on Shalot Inlet. There's been the jetties put in down a Little River Inlet. Corps of Engineers dredged and opened up the flow from Little River Inlet for navigation. So there's a lot more flow going in and out of there than there ever was before. That is probably one of the contributors to Mad Inlet closing up. But I agree with Steve. I think we need to do some more monitoring and keep a close eye on Tubbs Inlet and see what's happening there. And not only does it affect Sunset Beach and the people that live out on Cove Point, but it affects Ocean Isle Beach probably more significantly than us. Because right now, the way the flow, when the flow comes back out of Tubbs Inlet, it swirls around some shoals that are offshore there, and it impacts up on the beach, on Ocean Isle Beach, and it did a lot of damage up there during Hurricane Ian. We've got video that the town took the day after Hurricane Ian and that morning, and I'll send everybody a link to those videos. They can see. It's surprising how little damage there was done to our beach. But it was the video happened to be taken halfway between low tide and high tide. It's kind of ironic. But the video that they tried to take last Thursday for the channels at low tide didn't come out very well, and we'll do that again around the new moon when the tides are lower than they were this time. So hopefully we'll get some better videos. But there is one video from last Thursday that does show a lot of the North Jenks Creek. And I just downloaded it this morning before the meeting, so I haven't even had a chance to.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. So, I think we can put that on an agenda as an agenda item for the next meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to, as I mentioned, I'm not really that, I don't know that much about that issue, let's put it that way. So I would appreciate some.
I know there's a lot of people in town concerned about the terminal groin that Ocean Isle Beach constructed. When they had the CRC meeting up there last couple weeks ago, we went out and walked around that area. That terminal groin is working exactly the way it was designed to work.
Good.
And there's a very low chance that it's doing anything to affect Tubbs Inlet. But time will tell. But they did a beach nourishment project at the same time they did the terminal groin, and that east end of Ocean Isle Beach is coming back to life again. Okay, recycling subcommittee report.
Gosh, I guess I've given my report. We, or most of it anyway, we did meet, the subcommittee met briefly after our photo shoot. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago now? Last week, I guess. And talked a good bit about what we were going to do at the Earth Day Arbor Day event, and maybe some things about the birthday thing. And also we talked a bit about this whole issue of promoting recycling, which is something I don't think I've got my hands around completely, but it's still a work in progress. Either one of y'all have anything to add to that much? I didn't bring my notes with me.
No, I Personally, I've come to the conclusion that Sunset Beach is doing the residents of Sunset Beach, the people who live here year-round, do a good job
Right,
at
right,
recycling
Mm.
between the curbside and the drop-off.
right.
People that come in here for vacations or have homes here as second homes, they don't participate hugely, large numbers in those programs, and we don't know exactly how many people do anything,
Mm-mm.
but the participation in the curbside program is not subscribed to by part-time people, and I think if the county and state government really want high percentage of people to participate in that, it has to be mandatory at a county or state level. You can't put that burden on small towns like us.
No, we're just a needle in a haystack. I think you mentioned it somewhere.
Well, I
Right.
think the research that you and I did last year kind of showed that if it's voluntary participation, really hard to increase it much beyond 30%. The best places were getting about 45,
Mhm.
but when they made it mandatory, they can get up to 85%.
Right.
The one thing I'd say, just coming back from Florida, is, we stayed in a rental property, and it's very clearly marked. They have to. I don't know what their requirements are, but that HOA community requires that those owners of the rental properties participate in recycling, and they have recycling carts there in the garage, and they have big things. Here's what you can recycle, here's what can't be, this cart goes out here, this cart goes out then, and you're required to do that. Now, how well people actually do they just take their stuff and throw it all in the regular thing? I don't know, but they ask you
Right.
to do it the right way, and they make it possible because everything's there to do it. So maybe that's something the town could look at, is if you own a property that's rented, that you participate.
Well, we've teed that up for
Cart
discussion with
recycling.
council, so we'll see
Where we go.
where we go with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think we need to get the recycling person down here to a meeting in the future and express some of our concerns and concerns to her about where we are. I'll try to get her down here to a meeting in the next month or two.
I would not ask her to come in April because
No. Well, maybe next 2 or 3 months. Then, yeah,
May or June.
yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? There's no public anymore, so unless there's something else, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, folks.
All right.